Okay, we'll get started here. You know, first want to just again express our appreciation to Tulane, their university football program for making this game work under really tough circumstances. Very much appreciated to them, and a lot of appreciation and credit to our administration again for getting this thing pulled off. We know this wasn't easy for either side, certainly Tulane. And I thought, I thought everybody did a great job in putting this thing together so quickly. With the game, telling the team afterwards, I think the big things for us are, we're not gonna apologize for winning, but at the same time, we've got to own, the good and the bad, and there was certainly, plenty of both. Game got off to a little bit of a strange start. Obviously with the pick, and then they take it down and score, and not quite how you dreamed it up after all these months. And but then I thought the team did a great job of really responding there throughout the second half, and there were some flashes of some really good ball. And then second half, I think clearly our team felt like the game was over, and that's that's obviously that's my job, to make sure our mentality was right. I don't think it was. I think we were playing well at that point, and it separated a little bit in the game, and you could just see we weren't quite the same team coming out. And then again, all of a sudden momentum flips. We had some opportunities to make plays on all sides of the ball. Didn't make enough of them there to separate. Had some dumb coaching decisions, especially mine, to go for it there, backed up on the 4th and 1. That was just a really poor decision by me. And I give Tulane credit. I give them credit. I mean, they made a lot of plays. They threw and caught the ball well. The 2 interceptions we threw were phenomenal plays on the ball. So I give them a lot of credit. They played a lot better than we did in the second half, and their mentality was a lot better than ours in the second half. I'm proud of the way we finished, because again, when football is always a game of momentum, and when it's going the way it was for us, you got to find your best there at the end. And we did a great job getting the stop defensively, and then being able to run out the clock with the 2 runs there to finish the game. So there's a lot we're excited about, plenty that we clearly have to improve, and that's the journey, man. That's what these seasons are about. They never go exactly like you think. It's just you get this kind of litmus test of where we are, and right now we're a football team that shows some flashes of having a chance to be a good team, but we've clearly got a ton of work to do, all of us, if we're gonna reach our potential, and that'll be our goal, certainly going into this next one, and the rest of the way out.
Yeah, Lincoln, what was the most concerning thing to you about the defense, whether it was there earlier or in the second half, and how fixable do you think those things are? And then what was the difference between that second quarter and really the rest of the game defensively?
Yeah, I would say defensively, they gave us a couple things we had to adjust to in the beginning, and I thought we did. I thought we had a few more busts than we typically have, and that's something we take pride on, is not allowing easy throws. And I thought we had a few too many coverage busts where we just weren't in the right place. Had some opportunities to make plays. Had a couple of chances to pick it off where we just simply didn't make the play. We did a great job getting turnovers there, and I think that was the second quarter, kind of first quarter into first and in the second. But yeah, just wasn't quite good enough. I mean, at the end of the day, we just, tackling was at times a little bit of an issue. We played a lot of guys, and I think there's a few guys that rose up and really did some good things, and some other guys that showed that they need a little bit more seasoning. So got to play great team defense, and we did it at times. But again, I think honestly, any question that you guys are getting ready to ask about, whether it's about a player, a side of the ball, anything like that, it's kind of all the same to me right now. All right. Again, moments of brilliance, some really good things in the first half. But a team that mentally was not prepared to come out in that second half and play the way that we needed to play, and just thinking that, well, the game's over just because you went on a good run there. And so it's it's got to be better. It's got to get coached better, starting with me, with all of our coaches. And, you know, we certainly let one, you know, almost let one get away from us that had no business happening.
Appreciate it, Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Mike, I can't hear you. You got me, Lincoln?
Gotcha.
Okay. You said you're going to give the same flow of answer, I realize, but I know some positions, some players carry with them higher expectations. And so I will specifically ask for your thoughts on Spencer today.
I thought decision-making overall was pretty strong. Had a couple of bad decisions. Not a ton. I thought decision making was pretty sharp. Really, probably the worst decision he had was the check down to Stogner there in the 2-minute drill before half. Other than that, you know, he missed a few throws that he just typically makes, and he missed them. Not only did he miss them, he missed them in places that you can't. And again, I give Tulane credit; they made 2 phenomenal plays on the ball to pick them off. But so he was okay. I mean, he was okay. He can play better, and he's going to need to play better. There's things I can do to prepare him better, you know, and kind of prepare the group around him. He had his moments where he was really, really good and gave us a lot of chances and was really excellent at times. But there's certainly a few that we're going to want back, and we're going to need him to play better and get coached better here the rest of the way out.
Lincoln, I know you're practicing in the mornings. Was part of the substitutions today just, I mean, you could see the fans emptying out of the stands. It had to be pretty miserable conditions down there. Was that kind of part of the thinking today too, in rotating so many guys, or is that just going to be the way that it's always going to be here for you guys?
No, I think we've tried to rotate guys a little bit more early just to get a feel, especially this year with so many new guys that are going to have a chance to contribute. So I think it's a combination of that. And then certainly the heat. I mean, there's no doubt about it with the way the game was. We tried to keep guys fresh, which I think, you know, there on those last couple of drives paid dividends, that we had some, you know, fresh guy to hand it to and a couple of fresh guys to rush the passer on the defensive side. So, you know, will the reps tighten down as we go? I think that'll be determined by the players. You know, we got a chance today to look at a lot of guys. And if you want to be on the field, then you got to prove that you're going to be productive when you're out there. So we'll get back and review the tape, and there's going to be some guys that rose up and that we probably need to play more. There's going to be some guys that weren't quite ready yet that we need to season a little bit more, and then they've got to fight to improve to get more opportunities. So, but to answer your question, I think a combination of all the things going on today.
Yeah, Lincoln, when you talk about letting down in the second half, usually we think of that in terms of effort and maybe just physical exertion, but is part of that mental? When you had 37 points in the first half, you had 3 points in the second half. What leads to that kind of drop off?
Yeah, Barry, I think all of it. You know, I think certainly a big part of it is mental. No question about that. I mean, it's something as football coaches and players, you fight all the time. It's human nature. I mean, anybody watching that game probably thought that game was over at half, including our players. And you know, that's just, you know, it's not a good way to look at things. It's human nature that you have to fight. And I think it starts in your mind. I think it is a mentality. And I think when you're not at your best, you know, you make mental mistakes. You know, your effort is not quite as good, so you're not able to cover up when you do make a mistake. You know, energy on the sideline, energy in the stadium. I mean, the whole thing, it takes all of that to play great ball. And so we've, you know, clearly it exposed us. I mean, it exposed us and exposed our mentality. And again, if we want to be the team that we think we can be, and you know, we got a lot of work to do in that regard. And when you get the chance to finish people, and we went pretty aggressively there at the beginning of the second half, you know, to try to finish. I mean, we were pretty aggressive with a couple calls. Obviously, I'd love to have the one back now, the one backed up, the fourth down. We were aggressive with a couple of defensive calls and, trying to get that extra degree of separation, and it didn't happen, and it backfired on us. And again, I give Tulane a lot of credit. It wasn't like, we certainly didn't do a very good job in the second half, but they deserve a lot of credit, and I certainly don't want to take away from the job that they did, especially in the second half.
And one follow-up was the sort of the lack of mental focus, whatever. That seemed to be the case even on the onside kick. I mean, that looked like a ball nobody was wanting to fall on.
No, we executed actually exactly perfectly. We didn't feel the ball. Guy had kind of the watermelon ball on there, and it was jiggling around, and we designed it exactly what we do. We try to get it to one of our best ball guys, block the people in front of him, and give him a clean one-on-one shot with the ball. And we did. I mean, that's a ball that we catch, probably 95 times out of 100, and we just happened to hit one of the 5 times that we didn't, and they recovered. So no, that was actually. Hell, that's one of the better plays we executed today.
John Hoover.
Yeah, Lincoln, you've talked a lot about the mental game today, and you actually used the words mentally not prepared. After all this team has been through, all the hype, the buildup, the offseason that you guys have had, challenges and all that, what's your level of surprise that they're mentally not prepared today?
Yeah, I mean, I'm disappointed that we didn't finish the game. I do strongly believe in the individuals in that room, the coaches in that room, the players in that room, that there's something really, really good there, but we've got a lot of work to get it out. And, these seasons are long, and each moment is such a teachable moment. And so, the thing for us right now is, do we learn the lesson? Do we understand? Let's not be blind to the things that went well, and let's continue to push those. Let's obviously pay strong attention to the things that didn't go well, and we've got to address them at all levels. And so I think you'll see us respond. I do. We'll see what happens.
Jesse Crittenden.
Hey, Lincoln, I wanted to ask you about your team's running game today. It seems like it was kind of up and down at times. What you see from both your running backs and using Caleb Williams in that goal line setting today, is that something you guys are kind of looking at as the season goes on?
Yeah, run game was, I mean, honestly, kind of like the whole thing. Kennedy had a pretty solid average, 6 yards a carry. So I thought, he ran the ball well. Eric was close to getting loose a couple times. I thought kind of traded, there's a couple times we didn't have good calls. I thought, a couple times we missed a few things at the front. A couple times I thought things were fit up pretty good that we didn't quite get it. Disappointed in some of the short yardage run game, especially kind of that little series there, as we mentioned there at the beginning of the third quarter. So, yeah, again, kind of like it all. I mean, there were some parts that we're excited about, and it's good to kind of see our guys run live and let them get behind this O-line live. And obviously we believe strongly in running the football, and that's got to be a big part of who you are and what you're doing. And we got to, like every part of our team, a lot of steps to take. Yeah, as far as using Caleb or any other personnel as the season goes on, we'll just have to see how it goes.
Thank you, Lincoln.
Yeah, Lincoln, you guys, obviously you talked about rotating guys in and out, some of the younger guys. Can you specifically talk about some of the guys that just kind of off the cuff before you looked at film that you thought kind of had a good game? And then can you touch on the game that Isaiah Thomas had with the strip, the sack, and all those tackle for losses?
Yeah, I thought Isaiah did a good job. You certainly saw him, impact the quarterback several times. And he's a good player. I mean, if he gets one-on-ones, those are times we feel like we're going to be in an advantage. And so he certainly did some good things affecting their quarterback. Yeah, the young guys, I don't know that I would honestly, or the guys we rotated, I don't know that I'd want to single anybody out without watching it. I mean, there were some really good individual plays. I thought Latrell had some really nice plays. I think Clayton came up with maybe a fumble right there in the beginning. There were guys on both sides, young guys that did some really nice things, but I would want to reserve the right to be able to look at the tape here before I go much further there.
Thanks, Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
Team Blevins.
Yeah, Coach, I
was curious about Rain got in. It looked like the second half. Wondered his status. And then, as a secondary question, what about leadership? It looks like you have some new guys in those roles. I don't know if you can tell anything without, this quickly.
Yeah, Rain, had some medical reasons, had to miss a good amount of practice time, and he was battling with congeal anyway. We got him back here at the end of the week, and we're able to play him a little bit there in the second half. Secondary wise, no, I think we got some fantastic leaders there. I mean, one of our team captains, and obviously Pat Fields, and Delaron's a big leader for us as well. We obviously have some youth out there right now. We started and obviously played Billy a lot. Played Cradell a lot. Played several different corners throughout the day. So it's a group that's going to have to continue to improve and come together. But we do have some good leaders that I think will continue to help push this group, and it's got the makings of being a really, really good group. So excited about what it can be, but certainly a lot of work to do.
Myron Patton.
Yeah, Lincoln, what'd you think of your offensive line? I know you had some illegal procedure penalties early on, but just the overall play, you had some new guys up there playing today.
Yeah, pass pro. I thought pass pro on the day was really good. Run game was moments have been really good, at times a little inconsistent. The big negative, I would say, the biggest negative was the penalties. We obviously had several false starts, and I know it happened at least twice, maybe three times, that we were in a very manageable, like, third and medium, and we false start, and all of a sudden we're in, put ourselves in third and longs. I know it's twice, it may have been three times. So, got to get some things cleaned up. We'll continue to look at that lineup and make sure that we get the best five out there as much as possible.
James Hale.
Lincoln, you were without Theo today at wide receiver, and he's a 2-year starter for you, so that was noticeable. Mario Williams looks like he's got some great talent. What did you think about how your receivers played? Did they get open like they were? Did they run the routes they were supposed to? And how'd they perform?
Yeah, I thought in large part we did a pretty good job. I thought we ran pretty actively. I thought we missed a couple of perimeter blocks, a chance to be big plays that we'll have to be better on. Had a couple of chances to make some plays, especially right there at the end. At this point, we didn't get that done. But yeah, I thought there were a lot of good things. And then we'll say that Weiss had a lower leg injury, and he'll miss at least the first half of the season, and we'll see how it plays out going forward. But certainly plenty of talent in that room. I thought there was a couple guys that did some nice things. I thought Brian Darby, with Drake being out today as well. I thought Brian Darby stepped in and did a really nice job in there. So yeah, there was a lot of good, but it's got to continue to get better.
Thanks, Lincoln.
You're welcome.
Mason Young.
Lincoln, as opposed to last year with only having the one non-conference game because of COVID, what kind of benefit do you see in that return to normalcy of having 3 non-conference games and getting those game reps before you jump into Big 12 play?
Yeah, I mean, right now, I'm glad we got them. We got a lot of work to do. So hopefully we can take advantage of them. And so we'll be ready. I promise you that. 6 o'clock next Saturday, that stadium in there is going to be jam packed. There's going to be a great vibe in that stadium, and our team will be ready to play.
I'm sorry, we have to keep moving. That's all for Coach Riley. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.